Now, so when that, as long as that red thing is blinking, it's recording.
Okay.
If it stops, press the red button up there.
Okay. And it restarts or it just stops?
Huh?
What happens when I press the red
Well,
button?
don't press it unless it stops.
Right.
Then if you do, it'll start again.
Okay.
Press it.
Okay.
I'm going to try to do.
Announcements.
I start to cough too much, I'll have to stop. Well, it's June, folks, and in case you were unaware of it, summer starts next week. The fact that it was 100 degrees today doesn't make any difference.
Summer started.
Summer
last week.
officially starts next week. We've got those who missed it. We had Judy Collins here on past Tuesday. It was sold out house. I had tickets, but I was sick and couldn't go, so I was very disappointed.
What'd you do with your ticket?
I gave it to the center and said give it to somebody or sell it, and they couldn't. Nobody wanted it.
They didn't sell it? Oh,
They had 4 seats that
I know
people
somebody
didn't
who
show
would
up.
have probably
But people didn't show up for it.
take that too, if they had
Well,
that been known, had they sent out a
Too late.
deal.
The 25th of June, which is coming up next weekend, Neptune's Car will be here. It's a duo, a guy and a gal. Their music is like Linda and Lindy. It's the same kind of music, folk Americana. They do their own stuff. July 9th, Sarah Hickman will be here. Sarah's out of Austin. She's terrific. And August 6th, Trout Fishing in America will have a return engagement by their request. They loved being here last year, and they asked to come back, so we're happy about that. Monday night will be Third Monday. And I'm sponsoring the music, so you better come and listen to it. I spent a lot of money on it, and I don't want it to go to waste. It'll be right out here in front of my shop, just a little left of my shop. And it'll be a full Monday night thing, starting at 5 o'clock, ending whenever they feel like stopping, which is usually.
They do 50s, 60s music?
That's what I'm told.
That's what I've heard.
They're too big for the stage, so they'll be spread out on the street. So that's what's coming. And in other news, Grape is having their supposed soft opening. It started at 6 o'clock a few minutes ago. Don't know what their hour is going to be. They told me they're going to be open 7 days a week. They found out, to their chagrin, they have to serve food. They're not a restaurant, so they got to figure out some food to serve. So they'll probably do sandwiches or some kind of thing. But they're required by state law to serve more food than alcohol. So it's going to be a trip for them. The Brewbakers will be under new management as soon as the liquor license comes in for James Head, which should be any day. Just a little bit I spoke to him. He's got great plans for it. I hope he can do half of what he says. He's going to change the front part, the restaurant part, back to Winnsboro Bakery. He's going to take the bar out of the front part and have that just restaurant. You'll be able to order a beer or wine at your table and they'll bring it to you, but they won't have people sitting at a bar there watching television like it is now. He wants to start doing breakfast. He wants to bring wings in. He wants to start cooking steaks there. And he may be open Sunday for lunch. He hasn't decided yet. Steakhouse, the saloon, is crawling along at a snail's pace, and they hope to be open on July 1st. They originally were going to be open in April, I think, so it's just a little bit delayed. When they open it, the steakhouse will shut down Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and they will serve food out of the saloon, but no steaks. Steaks will only be served on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. Because he doesn't have any business Tuesday and Wednesday night. They're absolutely empty. So. But if you want a hamburger or a chicken fried steak or a baked potato, you can order it at the saloon. And if you don't like eating in a saloon, you can eat in the dining room. But the front door of the steakhouse will be shut, be closed. There's a new children's clothing store opening where our Cinco used to be, just to my right,
Who used to be?
Or Cinco Ranch used to be.
Oh, what happened to them?
They moved to Main Street. They're on Main Street where Eclectic Elephant used to be. They've been there. They were there at the beginning of the month. And they hopefully will open, if not this weekend, then Monday. A Monday night thing. And the corner store, which is a gift shop, going to be a gift shop, that's supposed to open also around the same time. They're both owned by Betsy. Betsy owns all three of those places. Betsy's, the children's thing, and the corner store all owned by the same guy. So hopefully that'll bring some more traffic to the street, but only time will tell whether that happens. Oh, and we're getting a tattoo parlor.
Well, isn't there one already down there?
Yeah, they're moving. They're moving to where Century 21 used to be. And I'm going to go take care of my customers. Come on in. Come on in. And those are the announcements. So you may go and do your thing.
Okay.
We can wait.
No, that's all right.
And it goes.
Okay.
Now we're headed
Okay.
straight ahead. I'm gonna do Bonnie.
Okay.
Okay, I am substituting right now for Bonnie, our founder. Bonnie Lee, she signs her letter here. Hi, Jodan. I copied and sent this to my elementary school girlfriend after the Orlando nightclub massacre. Will you read my letter to Nancy and John Donne's poem for me at tonight's Live Poets, please? No one has ever said it better. She's talking there about John Donne, I think. Sending my love from Tucson, Bonnie. So now I move down to where she says, subject, no man is an island, to Nancy. Our 12th grade English teacher, Mrs. Lev, looks like, L-E-V. No, Lewis. Now, I got it all on the screen. Mrs. Lewis, loved poetry. Do you remember she made us memorize a poem of our choice? The one I memorized speaks to Orlando as closely today as it did in 1600. Now, this is the poem by John Donne. No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is less, as well as if a promontory will, as well as if a manor of my friends, or of thine own were. Any man's death diminishes me, because I am involved in mankind, and therefore never send to know for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. Please know that I'm sorry so many Americans were massacred this week by radical insane terrorists. It could have been me or you. We might have been in the crowd watching the Boston Marathon at a Christmas party in San Bernardino, or tourists eating breakfast at the World Trade Tower. What will it take to make America safe again? And I don't believe taking away my gun is the answer.
Amen.
Say again?
Amen.
Oh. My love to you and Sandy, signed Bonnie Lee. Bonnie Sir Kegian White, our founder, and we thank her for sending an electronic message to be read today.
All right.
Had you finished?
Yes.
Okay. Are you who? Doc? Are you next or who?
I guess unless he's gonna read, are you gonna read one?
No, I can't because I'll start the call.
Are you not gonna read one?
No. It's up to you, Doc. You better read.
Oh,
it.
man.
Ooh. Wait a minute before you start. I have. Oh, that's no wonder. Okay. Anytime now.
Well, I've been so busy running around with our music ministry and, just our regular music and all that. This poem here kind of sums a lot of it up. It's where my get up and go has gone up and went. We've heard that before from different ones, but I've never heard a poem spelled out this way here. It said, how do I know that my youth is all spent? Well, my get up and go has got up and went. But in spite of it all, I'm still able to grin when I think of all the places my get up and go has been. Old age is golden, so I've heard. But sometimes I wonder as I get into that bed, with my ears in a drawer, my teeth in a cup, my eyes on the table, until I wake up. Ere sleep dims my eyes, I say to myself, is there anything else I can put on the shelf? And I'm happy to say as I close the door, my friends are the same, perhaps even more. When I was a young thing, my slippers were red. I could kick my heels as high as my head. Then when I was older, my slippers turned blue. But still, I could walk the whole day through. Now I'm still older. My slippers are black. I walk to the store and puff my way back. The reason I know my youth is all spent, my get up and go has got up and went. But really I don't mind when I think of it with a grin. Of all the grand places my get up has been, since I retired from life's competitions, I busy myself with complete repetition. I get up each morning, I dust off my wits, I pick up the paper and read the obits. If my name's missing, I know I'm not dead, so I eat a good breakfast and go back to bed.
Well, I've heard most of that from other places, Doc.
Oh yeah.
The obit thing, hospital man used to say that was a standard routine for hospital man whenever we did it. When you got up in the morning, first thing you did was read the obits, and if his name wasn't there, you'd go back to bed.
Oh yeah.
That was standard. And the first part of it is from a folk song that the Weavers used to sing. To get up and go, got up and went.
Either one of you guys reconsidered and read something?
I can't. My
Get up and goes kind of went.
no, I got plenty of that, but I just if I speak too many words in a row, I start to cough. I can't stop coughing.
Okay.
Got a tickle in my throat, and I can't scratch it.
Well, you did real good on the announcements,
Well,
Conrad.
if I
Well, you could maybe do your poetry reading like you did the announcements. Just take it slow
well, I could do that.
and drink
I'd
some
have
little
to
water.
drink a little water and blow my nose once in a while.
Oh.
We'll just have
That
Joe
was a
Dan.
lot of announcements too, because
We'll
I had
just
no
have-
idea that stuff was going on
Yeah.
in Winnsboro.
We'll have
We're going to read two short poems by my late daughter.
Yeah, I knew you'd do that. You can read a few
And,
more than that if you like.
One of them is called Measure of Love. Measure of love. You ask me if I love you. You measure each embrace. Weigh my words against your past. distrust my smiling face. Examine close each offering for motive and intent. Parse apart my lines of love and ask me what I meant. You price each loving present. You bite to test my coin. You question all my kisses, hold back when we conjoin. I wonder if you see me or hear the sounds I speak. Love is dying on the vine, ill-nourished by critique. Why can't you simply swallow the sweets I feed to you? Distrust is hard and hollow. Love is easier to chew. Measure of Love, Tara Boyd. And a little, almost haiku length, short poem called Moment, M-O-M-E-N-T, Moment. In my hand I held you for a single perfect moment. You shone, you gleamed, fair glittered, but then the light changed, the season turned, your sunlight dimmed. That was our moment. Now it is gone. Thank you. I thought of something. Oh, the light changed. Yeah. When I read that line, the light changed, I was reminded of the movie from quite a while back, The Bridges of Madison County. If you've seen it, hold up your hand.
I got the book over here.
If you read the book, hold up your hand.
I have the book right here.
Was it Meryl Streep?
Yeah, no.
She played
Clint
Clint Eastwood
Clint Eastwood.
in the movie, yeah.
I've got the movie, I've not watched it. I got the book, I've not read it. So
Anyway,
perfect.
there's I read the book when it came out, because at the time it came out, I guess I wasn't still in Philadelphia, but I was still with Farm Journal.
Do we know what year that was?
Pardon me?
What year that was?
If I knew, I would be
I'll
able
tell you
to
when it was published.
answer that question as to
That should help.
where I was when I read it, but I read it because it was one of the few books that I've ever heard get so much word of mouth promotion. Not before or since have I ever heard of a book getting that much word of mouth promotion. And I would never have read it except for that, you know. And people I knew, friends, acquaintances, were all reading it.
1992 is when it was published.
92. Okay, well I was still in the Dallas office of Farm Journal at that time. But, you know, I just felt like I had to read it. You know, it was, everybody else had read it that I knew, and many were bragging on it and all that. I heard very little negative stuff about it. Nobody bragged on it being, let's say, the best writing that they ever read, but everybody bragged on it being one of the best stories they'd ever read. And I read it, and the guy who wrote it, I'm trying to remember his name.
Robert James Waller.
Yeah, Robert Waller. He's what I would call a journalistic type writer who gets the story told. He would not stand out in my mind as a great writer, Hemingway or anybody like that. You know, he wasn't that kind of a writer, but he caught the public imagination with that particular book. He followed that book with I'd say somewhere close to half a dozen follow-ups. I never read a single one of them, nor do I know anybody else who read a single one of them. But anyway, one of the little moments that I remember from that book, and more from the movie, I guess, than the book, because of the way Clint Eastwood and Meryl Streep made it happen in the movie. It was memorable. And Clint plays a photographer named Robert Kincaid. You know, and he's a well-known photographer. I don't remember what his credentials were, but you know, he was not your average Kodak moment photographer. You know, he was somebody that was well known, maybe in National Geographic or something like that. You know, a really highly credentialed photographer. And he had this assignment to make these pictures of the bridges of Madison County. And he's down, and he and Meryl Streep character have met, you know, and a spark has flown from there, and you know, then the relationship is gonna continue and all that. But at that point, the relationship is new, and Robert Kincaid goes down at this one bridge. He goes down way down at a kind of a little deep ditch or canyon to get a different angle of the bridge. And Meryl Streep is waiting for him up there, up top, you know, in the road where the entrance to the bridge is. And he's gone a long time. And then she hollers, calls him, and he still doesn't immediately come back up. And soon after that, though, he does come back up, and she said, "What took you so long?" And he said, "Oh, the light was changing." Yeah, and I think only a photographer would understand that, you know, the light was changing. Well, you know, that meant a whole new scenario is developed, you know. And at the time that was set, you know, 1992, digital photography was still somewhat of a novelty. It had by no means taken over, and it was still film photography, and all the professional stuff was pretty much still done with film photography. And you know, when the light changes, you know, you got to reset everything. You know, get your meter out and all that. And I always thought, you know, that was my favorite. That was my favorite moment in the movie.
Well, it's interesting because the little bio it has is he's a writer, a photographer, and a musician. Right up your alley there.
Well, yeah, I think he made a record. He made a CD, I think.
He did a CD called The Ballads of Madison County, which songs that he wrote.
Yeah, that's the one I was trying to think of.
So he did that, and but he's a professor of management at the University of Northern Iowa, and lives in Cedar Falls.
Well, I remember at the time, he was really in the news. He was on TV a lot. You know, he was very famous because of that book, because of the success of that book. And I remember reading somebody had interviewed him and wrote a little article in some magazine about how he happened to write that book, what inspired him. And one of the things he said was that he was somewhere on assignment and he got the idea, you know, it just kind of, inspiration came to him, you know, kind of the plot, the whole plot of the book and this sort of thing. You know, the words didn't start coming, but the evolution of the plot came to him. And by the time he got home, he was so inspired. He said, I just put all my gear down and went to the typewriter and started writing. You know, and if I remember right, he didn't quit writing until he finished the book. You know, it was just like, there's a phrase, a Latin phrase that's, in Latin it reads furor scribendi. If you are, you know what it means?
Furious writing.
No,
It's
a
probably-
rage for writing
Well, the
is
same
the
thing, the same thing.
is the general translation of it. A rage for writing, and that's what he was under, that spell. You know, he could not stop.
Yeah,
I think
I've been there. I've been there.
Do you think he was drawing on any personal experiences?
I don't remember if he said one way or the other. He was he had a wife, and I'm gathering that if it was
Most
he didn't. It was either before he was married or he didn't talk about it. Probably.
most good stuff from first-time novelists are based on personal stuff. That's a general rule of thumb.
Your first book was
Well, that
Autobiographical.
wasn't a novel, but even the fiction that I write, you know, most of it is based on some, you know, a basis is based on some part of my life.
Yeah.
But you tend to do that. It's really easy.
We write
because-
about what we know, don't we?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, if you can get a successful novel or two out of your system, then you can invent the whole thing. But to get started, it's something somebody you knew gives you a germ to plant, to start growing something, or an incident that you witnessed, or somebody you was passing on the street and you see it and they spark something. But that's where it comes from.
Someday I may
really
write a novel.
Really, really good
I
novelists
live long enough.
can get it all out of here, but you really got to be super duper to do that.
The paragraph from Edward Hirsch, How to Read a Poem, is short this time. Last month it was rather long.
Rather long. It was rather long.
This one is pretty short. A line will take us hours, maybe that's L-I-N-E. A line will take us hours, maybe. Yet if it does not seem a moment's thought, our snitching, stitching, and unstitching has been naught. Okay, I'm going to read that again. A line will take us hours, maybe. Yet if it does not seem a moment's thought, our stitching and unstitching has been naught. The making of Bishop's Villanelle entailed a lifetime of deliberation, hours of stitching and unstitching, a long apprenticeship to the art of poetry, and an even longer apprenticeship to the art of loss. And yet the final product reads as if it had come together effortlessly in a moment's thought. That's pretty profound.
You mentioned the word bishop, and it immediately reminded me that I just read Dickens' Christmas Carol.
Really?
I read it last week for the first time ever.
Yeah, I remember you read something one time here in which you mentioned you never read that yet. But of course,
Finally read
you've
it.
seen 100
I've
movies.
seen it a million times. I've seen
haven't
it a
you?
million times. All the various versions of it, including the ones from here.
So Clint Eastwood became more conservative in Hollywood, and Meryl Streep became more liberal.
I would say 95% of the actors and actresses in Hollywood are liberal.
Oh, yeah.